Hi, Busy Bees. I have Mr. Burkett again with me today.
Hello.
Before we went on our break, Mrs. Pilot had given me a toy that looks like this. And she gave it to me because she said she knows that I like to do science experiments with you guys. And so I was looking at the package, and when I took it out of the package and I grabbed here and I grabbed here, it did this. And so I kind of know what was going on and why it was doing that. And I was telling Mr. Burkett about it, and he got super excited about it and wanted to try it out. And so he's here with us today to help us explain why this toy does that. And then we're going to do a little experiment with it.
Well, Mrs. Burkett is right. What this toy is helping to teach us about is how electricity can move. And when you notice on each side of this, there's a metal band over here and a metal band over here. Now, what electricity needs is a pathway that it can move from the start to the finish. And when Mrs. Burkett grabs it, or when anybody touches it, the electricity can move through one hand all the way through, and it comes out the other hand, and when you touch, it makes it all the way through the pathway. But some things electricity can move through and other things it can't move through. So if Mrs. Burkett and I were to hold hands, we can actually make a pathway through both of us. So if we hold hands like this, and if Mrs. Burkett puts her hand on there, the electricity can move all the way through and make it to the other side. But what we're going to do now is an experiment, and we're going to see which objects and which materials electricity can also move through. So our first one is we're going to hold each end of this book. So I'm going to hold the starting point, and I'm going to hold one side of the book, and Mrs. Burkett's going to hold the other side, and she's going to touch, and nothing happens. And so books are made out of paper, and so we're now seeing if paper can move through this. Now, the next thing we're going to try is this piece of aluminum foil. But before we do it, we want to take a minute and we want you guys to guess, make a hypothesis, and predict whether or not you think the metal of the aluminum foil will allow electricity to move through. So take a minute and make your guess. Okay, let's try it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold, oh, and there the dogs go. I'm going to hold this end. Mrs. Burkett's going to hold it. We're going to hold it together like this. And now we're going to see if it works.
Ready?
Ready, go. And it does. So it looks like aluminum foil. Turbo. Sit.
Sorry.
It looks like the aluminum foil does help let electricity go. Now, the next thing we're going to try is a marker, and a marker is made out of plastic. So take a minute and see if you can come up with a prediction for whether or not you think the electricity is going to go through the plastic of the marker. All right, well, let's try. Let's see what we can do. So Mrs. Burkett's going to hold it, and I'm going to hold this, and we're going to try, and nothing happened. The electricity didn't move. Okay. Well, we're going to try another one. We went to the kitchen, and we got a spoon out of the drawer, and a spoon is also made of metal. And so take a minute and try to make a prediction. Now that we have a spoon, a metal spoon, what do you think is going to happen? And do you think the electricity is going to be able to move all the way through? Okay, let's give it a shot. So we're holding the spoon, and now there it goes. Okay. So it does. So the metal spoon worked. Now,
Turbo.
Now to see if it's all spoons, we also got a wooden spoon from the kitchen. And what we're going to do, so take a minute and see if you think the wooden spoon is also going to let the electricity make its pathway.
What do you think?
I don't know. I think that what we've seen metal things have a really good chance of making it work, but this spoon isn't made out of metal, so I don't think it's going to work. But let's see. Let's do the experiment.
It is a spoon.
It's a spoon. So we're going to hold each side, and
oh, you were right.
We were right. We made a prediction. Now, to really see if we can make this prediction, we have seen all of our metal objects have worked and let the electricity through. The last thing we did is we also were in the kitchen and we got some tongs that you can cook with. Now these tongs are made out of metal, so I think I'm going to make a prediction that I think these metal tongs will let electricity go through, and I think this is going to work. But we have to do the experiment. So let's see if that happens. So I'm going to hold it.
Ready?
And Mrs. Burkett's going to hold the other end. And it works!
Can we try something with this? So I noticed that there's some rubber on this side, but the
Yep.
whole thing is metal. So if you hold the rubber and I hold the metal, can we see if it works?
Let's try it. So I'm holding that.
Ready?
Yep.
Oh!
And it doesn't work. So it really looks like we have to make sure that metal things can transfer and allow electricity to go through its pathway.
Thank you, Mr. Burkett.
Yeah.
So something that I know you guys don't have one of these at home, but a way that you could help us is if you have an idea. So we've already done a book, foil, a marker, a metal spoon, a wood spoon, and then some tongs. If you have another idea of something that you want us to try, let us know, and then we'll collect up your things that you want us to test, and we'll see if those make it do this.
And tell us your predictions.
Yes, and they do know that word. They know that
Good.
means a guess. So we hope you liked testing this with us, and we'll hear from you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye, Busy Bees.